The signal from the stars. The void stretched endless before the warship Indomitable, its titanium hull gleaming under the distant stars. Captain Elena Reyes stood at the viewport, her scarred hands clasped behind her back as she surveyed the emptiness. 20 years in Earth's Special Defense Fleet had taught her that space was never truly empty. It was filled with danger, opportunity, and sometimes both at once. Captain, Lieutenant Wei's voice broke through her thoughts. We're picking up a signal. Automated distress beacon, not human in origin. Elena turned, her face impassive despite the sudden tension that gripped the bridge. Alien distress signals were rare in this sector of space, particularly so close to the Cerulean Divide, a region notorious for its gravitational anomalies and radiation storms. Source? She asked, moving to the main console where Wei's fingers danced across holographic displays. Unknown species, Captain. Signals coming from within the divide, approximately 3 light hours from our position. Commander Jackson Mercer, her second in command, stepped forward. The tall, broad-shouldered man had skepticism written across his features. Could be a trap. The Krell used similar tactics during the Frontier Wars. Elena studied the signal pattern pulsing on the screen. It didn't match any known species in their database, but its regularity suggested artificial intelligence. Opinions? Elena asked, glancing around the bridge. Dr. Isabel Chen, their xenobiologist, spoke first. If it's genuine, we're obligated to respond under the Galactic Accords. And if it's a new species, this could be an important first contact opportunity. Or it could be the last contact we ever make, Security Chief Rodriguez countered, arms folded across his chest. We're dealing with unknowns here, Captain. Unknown species, unknown tech, unknown intentions, all in a region of space that tears ships apart. Elena considered both perspectives. Humanity had learned caution the hard way since venturing to the stars. Earth was classified as a death world by most alien standards. Its high gravity, extreme weather patterns, and diverse ecosystem had forged humans into resilient, adaptable creatures. Most aliens underestimated what humans could endure. Perhaps these aliens would too, if their intentions were hostile. Set course for the signal, Elena decided. But ready all defensive systems and alert the combat teams. We'll answer the call for help, but we'll be prepared for anything. The Indomitable altered its trajectory, its massive fusion engines flaring blue as it accelerated toward the Cerulean Divide. The region loomed ahead like a bruise against the blackness of space, swirling clouds of ionized gas, punctuated by the occasional flash of radiation storms. Captain, receiving message from Earth Command. Communications Officer Park announced. They're advising caution regarding our new heading. Acknowledge receipt, Elena replied. Inform them we're investigating a potential distress signal in accordance with Section 7 of the Accords. While Earth might worry about the risks, Elena knew her ship and crew could handle themselves. The Indomitable was cutting edge, one of the few vessels designed specifically to operate in hostile environments. Its reinforced hull could withstand radiation levels that would cook most alien ships from the inside out, a benefit of humanity's natural radiation resistance compared to most species. As they approached the divide, sensor interference increased. Static crackled across displays, and the ship's AI struggled to maintain clear readings. Signal source identified, Wei announced after hours of cautious navigation. It's a vessel, approximately 1 kilometer in length, appears damaged. The main screen displayed a sleek, elongated craft, drifting at the edge of a particularly dense radiation cluster. Its blue-gray hull was scarred with what looked like weapons damage, and parts of it flickered with failing energy fields. Life signs? Elena asked. Dr. Chen studied her readouts. Difficult to tell with the interference, but I'm detecting something. Oxygen-nitrogen atmosphere inside the vessel, temperature within survivable range for most carbon-based life forms. Hail them, Elena ordered. Park sent the standard multi-frequency greeting, a carefully constructed message designed to be as non-threatening as possible while establishing basic communication. Minutes passed with no response. They might be too damaged to receive, we suggested. Elena nodded. Prepare a boarding team. Full environmental suits, weapons concealed but ready. I want medical, engineering, and security personnel. Captain, I strongly advise against. Rodriguez began. Noted, Chief. Elena cut him off. But if someone's dying over there, I'm not going to ignore them because we're scared. It's not fear, Captain, Rodriguez replied evenly. It's experience. Elena understood his concern. 5 years ago, during the Rigel incident, a human medical ship had answered a distress call only to be captured by pirates. The crew had been held hostage for months before a special forces team could extract them. That's why you're leading the boarding team, Chief, Elena said with the hint of a smile. Nobody's more paranoid than you. The shuttle departed from the Indomitable 30 minutes later, carrying Rodriguez and a 12-person team. Elena watched from the bridge as they navigated toward the alien vessel, the shuttle seeming impossibly small against the massive ship. Boarding team has docked, White reported. They've established a seal and are cutting through to gain entry. Elena nodded, her eyes never leaving the display. Maintain combat readiness. At the first sign of trouble, I want options. The minutes crawled by as the boarding team made their way inside the alien vessel. Initial reports described curved corridors with unusual gravity, about 0.7 Earth standard, and an atmosphere that was breathable but higher in oxygen than humans were accustomed to. We've found them. Rodriguez's voice crackled through the comms. Bipedal, roughly humanoid, but taller and thinner. They appear injured. How many? Elena asked. About 20 visible. They're gesturing at us, but our translators aren't picking up a language pattern yet. Dr. Chen should see this. Elena glanced at the xenobiologist, who was already moving toward the shuttle bay. Go. Report everything you observe. More time passed as Dr. Chen joined the boarding team. Meanwhile, Engineering Officer Patel conducted remote scans of the alien vessel's systems. Their technology is fascinating, Captain, Patel reported. Their propulsion system seems to work on principles we've theorized, but never successfully implemented. And their hull material, it's some kind of living metal that repairs itself. What about their weapon systems? Elena asked. Patel frowned. That's odd. I'm not detecting any. Elena's instincts flared. A vessel this size without defensive capabilities. In this dangerous region of space, it didn't add up. Rodriguez, she called over the comms. What's your assessment of the situation? The aliens are communicating now. Dr. Chen's translator is starting to piece together their language. They call themselves the Mithraxi. They claim they were attacked by raiders and flowed into the divide to escape. And the injuries. Consistent with their story, but Rodriguez paused. Something doesn't feel right, Captain. They're too calm for a species facing imminent death, and they keep trying to guide us deeper into the ship, away from their command center. Before Elena could respond, Lieutenant Wei called out, Captain, I'm detecting energy spikes around us, multiple vessels decloaking. The view screen suddenly filled with the image of 7 warships materializing from what had appeared to be empty space. Their design matched the damaged vessel, but these showed no signs of battle damage. It's an ambush, Elena stated, her voice cold with certainty. Rodriguez, get your team back now. But the comms had gone silent. The largest of the alien vessels opened a channel. A tall, gaunt figure appeared on screen, its elongated face bearing what might have been a smile on a human but looked predatory on this alien. Your compassion is a weakness, the alien spoke, its words translated by the ship's eye. One we have learned to exploit. Your vessel and technology will serve the Mithraxi hegemony well. Elena stood straight, her face betraying nothing of the anger coursing through her. You've made a serious miscalculation. Have I? The alien commander replied. Your pitiful vessel is surrounded. Your boarding team captured. Surrender now, and we will spare their lives. "That's your second mistake," Alina said quietly. "You don't understand what humans are." She cut the transmission and turned to her bridge crew. "Battle stations. Activate the Aegis protocol." Throughout the ship, hidden weapon systems whirred to life. Panels slid back to reveal railgun batteries and plasma launchers, weapons that had been carefully concealed from standard scans. The trap had been sprung, but not as the Mithraxi had planned. They had lured a human ship into their ambush, thinking they had found easy prey. Now they would learn why the galaxy's smartest predators never hunted Deathworlders. Turning the tables. "Aegis protocol activated, Captain." Lieutenant Wei confirmed as hidden compartments throughout the Indomitable slid open, revealing advanced weapon systems that had remained dormant until now. The Mithraxi commander's face reappeared on screen, his expression shifting from smug confidence to confusion. "What is happening?" "Our scans detected no such weaponry." "That was the point," Alina replied coldly. "You should have researched your prey more carefully before attempting to hunt it." She turned to Tactical Officer Hassan. "Target their weapons and propulsion systems. Disable, don't destroy. Yet." "Aye, Captain," Hassan responded, fingers dancing across his console. Targets locked. The Indomitable shuddered as its railguns fired in perfect synchronization. Hyper-accelerated tungsten slugs crossed the void at a fraction of light speed, striking the Mithraxi vessels with devastating precision. The aliens had sophisticated shields, but they weren't designed to withstand kinetic impacts of such magnitude. On the view screen, Alina watched as the Mithraxi ships reeled from the unexpected assault. Their shields flickered and failed around the impact points, and several of their weapon emplacements went dark. "They're returning fire," Wei warned. Energy beams lanced toward the Indomitable, but the human vessel was already moving. Despite its size, the warship executed a maneuver that would have crushed the bones of most alien species. The inertial dampeners strained as the ship rolled, presenting its most heavily armored sections to the incoming fire. Even so, the impacts rocked the vessel. Warning lights flashed across several stations. "Hull breach on Deck 7, reported Patel. "Automated seals engage." Alina gripped the command rail. "What's the status of our boarding team?" Communications Officer Park worked frantically at her station. "Still no contact, Captain. The Mithraxi are jamming all frequencies." Alina's mind raced. Rodriguez and his team were trained for hostile situations, but they were still outnumbered on an alien vessel. Time was not on their side. "New plan," she announced. "Tactical, prepare the swarm. Engineering, I need a focused EMP burst tuned to their shield frequency." Her officers exchanged glances. The swarm was a last resort weapon. Tiny autonomous drones with minimal weaponry but exceptional maneuverability. And an EMP burst carried its own risks. "Do it," Alina commanded, leaving no room for discussion. As her crew rushed to comply, the Mithraxi continued their assault. The alien commander seemed bewildered by the human ship's resilience. "Your vessel should be crippled," he transmitted. "No species can withstand such firepower." Alina allowed herself a grim smile. "You've never fought humans before, have you?" The confusion on the alien's face confirmed her suspicion. The Mithraxi had likely encountered other spacefaring species, probably those from low-gravity worlds with delicate physiologies. They weren't prepared for Deathworlders. "Launch the swarm," Alina ordered. From concealed bays along the Indomitable's hull, thousands of metallic objects no bigger than a human fist erupted into space. They moved in perfect coordination, like a school of fish, streaming toward the alien vessels. "EMP ready," Paddle reported. "Wait for my mark," Alina said, watching the swarm approach the largest Mithraxi ship. "We need perfect timing." The Mithraxi fired upon the drones, but they were too small and too fast to target effectively. Within moments, the swarm had enveloped the alien vessels, attaching themselves to hulls and shield emitters. "Now," Alina commanded. The EMP pulse radiated outward from the Indomitable, carefully calibrated to the Mithraxi shield frequency. It washed over the alien ships, momentarily disrupting their systems, and in that instant, the swarm activated. Each tiny drone drilled through the temporarily vulnerable hull, seeking vital systems. Direct communication link established with Chief Rodriguez, Park suddenly announced. The EMP cleared the jamming. Put him through, Elena ordered. Rodriguez's voice came through, strained but determined. Captain, we're barricaded in their medical bay. The Mithraxi tried to separate us, but we've taken 2 of their officers hostage. Excellent work, Chief. Hold position. Reinforcements are coming. Elena turned to her tactical officer. Status of the enemy fleet. Disorganized, Captain. Hassan reported with satisfaction. The swarm has disabled their primary weapons on 3 vessels and their engines on 2 others. The command ship is trying to regroup, but they're struggling to coordinate. Perfect, Elena said. Target their command ship's communication array. Then hail them. The Indomitable fired again, this time with surgical precision. The Mithraxi command vessel's external communications went dark. Now they can only talk to us, Elena noted. Open a channel. The Mithraxi commander appeared once more, his composure shattered. Behind him, Elena could see other aliens rushing about in panic. This is impossible, he hissed. Your technology is not the reason you're losing. Elena cut him off. Your mistake was assuming that because we answered a distress call, we were weak. Compassion is not weakness, and mercy is not vulnerability. She leaned forward. Here are my terms. You will return my boarding team unharmed. You will withdraw your fleet, and you will never again attempt to prey upon ships answering distress calls. Violate any of these conditions, and next time, we won't be so restrained in our response. The alien commander's eyes narrowed. And if I refuse? In answer, Elena nodded to Hassan. A single railgun slug pierced the alien command ship's bridge viewport, missing the commander by centimeters and embedding itself in the wall behind him. The sudden decompression was immediately halted by emergency force fields, but the message was clear. That, Elena said simply, was a warning shot. The Mithraxi commander stared at the smoking hole, then back at Elena. Who are you people? We're humans, Elena replied. From Earth, a world that tried to kill us every day of our evolution. Compared to our planet, your weapons are nothing. I suggest you remember that. Within an hour, Rodriguez and his team were safely back aboard the Indomitable. They brought with them a Mithraxi officer, not as a prisoner, but as a guest. The alien had broken with his commander, helping the humans escape. They've never encountered Deathworlders before, Rodriguez explained as medical staff examined the boarding team. This one, he calls himself Talith, says the Mithraxi leadership has been hunting soft species for generations. They've built their empire on ambushing ships that answer distress calls. Elena studied the tall, willowy alien who stood awkwardly in the ship's higher gravity. And you disagreed with this strategy. Talith bowed his elongated head. Many of us do, Captain. Our ancestors were not conquerors but explorers. This predatory behavior began only 3 generations ago, when resources became scarce in our home systems. And so you helped my people escape. I saw how your soldiers moved, how they fought, Talith replied. Even in our gravity, even outnumbered, they were formidable. I realized then that this path would lead only to destruction for my people. Elena considered this. You took a great risk. As did you, answering a distress call in dangerous space. Talith countered. Yet you came. That impressed me. Later, as the Indomitable prepared to depart, the Mithraxi fleet had withdrawn to a respectful distance. Their damaged vessels limped away, escorted by the less severely hit ships. The command vessel remained, maintaining communication with Talith. They've agreed to your terms, Captain, Talith reported after a long conversation with his superiors. And more, They wish to establish diplomatic relations with your Earth. Elena raised an eyebrow. Quite a change in attitude. Fear is a powerful motivator, Dr. Chen observed from her station. But I think there's something else at work here. Respect, Talith confirmed. You could have destroyed us, but you chose restraint. You demonstrated both strength and wisdom, qualities the Mithraxi hegemony has lacked in recent times. As the Indomitable set course for Earth, Elena reflected on the encounter. The Mithraxi had fundamentally misunderstood humanity. They had seen the willingness to help as weakness, not realizing it stemmed from strength. Humans could afford compassion precisely because they were formidable enough to bear its risks. Captain, Wei called out. Earth Command is requesting a full report on the incident. Elena nodded, already composing her thoughts. How to explain to headquarters that what had begun as an ambush had ended with a potential alliance. That enemies had become tentative friends through a demonstration of controlled power. Tell them, she said finally, that the most dangerous predators aren't always those with the sharpest teeth, but those with the capacity for mercy and the strength to defend it. In the observation lounge, Talith stood beside Commander Mercer, watching the stars streak by as the human vessel accelerated to speeds his own people had not yet mastered. Your captain, the alien said softly, she is both fierce and compassionate. Is this common among humans? Mercer considered the question. Not always, but it's what we aspire to be. Talith's gaze remained fixed on the stars. My people have much to learn from yours, and perhaps we from yours, Mercer replied diplomatically. The alien turned to him, surprise evident in his features. What could Deathworlders possibly learn from us? Mercer smiled. That's the thing about humans, Talith. We survive because we never stop learning, even from those who once thought us prey. As the Indomitable continued its journey home, the message it carried was more significant than any technology or resource. The galaxy was a dangerous place, filled with predators and prey, but the most fearsome creatures were those who could choose to be either or neither. The Deathworlders had answered an alien SOS and turned an ambush into an opportunity. In doing so, they had demonstrated why understanding humanity was perhaps the wisest course for any species contemplating the stars. Not because humans were unbeatable, but because in victory, they offered something rarer than conquest, the chance for mutual respect. And that, perhaps, was the most Deathworlder trait of all.